Ugh. Where's the booze? I got robbed by a little old lady on a motorized cart, and I didn't even see it coming. Oh, Harry, it's gonna be okay. Oh, gee, Lloyd, it gets worse. My pet parakeet, Petey, he's dead. Oh, God, I'm sorry, Hare. What happened? His head fell off. Oh, he was really old. What? Oh, I've had it with this dump. We got no food. We got no jobs. Our pets' heads are falling off. Okay, Lloyd, just calm down. What the heck are we doing here, Harry? We gotta get out of this town. Yeah, where are we gonna go? Where are we gonna go, Lloyd? I know a place. Someplace warm. Where the women instinctively flock like the salmon of Capistrano. Talking about a little place called Aspen. Oh, gee, Lloyd, the French are buttholes. Wait a minute, I know what you're doing, mister. Yeah, you just want me to help you take that briefcase to that girl, and you need me to drive you there. Yeah? No? Yeah, so? Yeah, so? So I want to go somewhere where somebody knows us who can plug us into the social pipeline.
Wow, that was excellent.
You missed one line. It's one of my favorite lines.
Okay.
Someplace warm.
Oh.
Where the beer flows like wine.
Yes, that's... I knew I was missing a part, yeah.
Oh, that's so funny and dumb. If you guys don't know where that is from Dumb and Dumber. Great film. Absolutely ridiculous, dumb.
Get your grandma and go watch it right now.
Don't grab your grandma. Don't grab grandma. Spare grandma. Anyways, if you're tuning in, welcome back to yet another episode of Bump That episode 37. If you guys have 37. Yeah. If you're listening for the first time, I am your host, Ileana. We've got Brian in this corner.
Shang Cho.
We've got KT in this corner.
Hi-ho.
And we are siblings who love to nerd out and decided to share it with all of you people. And here you are listening. Welcome.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, I mean, you chose this, so hey.
Yeah. It's kind of your fault.
On this week, we've got some news for you. We're going to be going into some movie news because there's a lot going on. Some more TV show news. We'll have exercise. I can't speak English.
Shang-Cho.
Exercise time with KT, streaming pick with Brian, and then we've got the chunk where we're going. Why can't I speak English? We're going to be
click off now. Click away.
And we're gonna have a pop culture battle. So we're gonna have a this versus that, and see which one we decide. Give our arguments on both sides. Oh, well, this or that, kind of thing.
It'll be an open-ended discussion kind of thing.
There's no right answer, honestly. Yeah. It's just opinion-based. So stay tuned for that, but we're going to go into the news. Brian, what do we got on the top?
So, if you guys hadn't heard, Jackass Forever, it was supposed to be coming out this fall, but again... Paramount is delayed, just like they did with Top Gun, the Mission Impossible films. Those are all coming out next year. But it was cool because they did put out some information to hype up Jackass 4, and that's talking about that cast and their medical bills. So ever since that show came out, I think like 1999, that's when it first premiered on MTV with Johnny Knoxville. Hi, I'm Johnny Knoxville. Welcome to Jackass. That main cast of crew has earned over $25 million in medical bills, and they did like the article that I saw. They did a quick, brief tune-up on what these guys have had. Like, for example, Johnny Knoxville, 16 concussions. There are NFL players that played 10 years that never even have half that many, head injuries. And not just 16 concussions, but a brain hemorrhage while filming the final hopefully, please, let this be the final Jackass film. Jackass Forever. He had a brain hemorrhage. When he did that that one movie about the park, Action Park. Did you guys see that?
Oh, I've heard about Action Park. I watched a documentary on it. It was a YouTube documentary.
Well, literally, his eye popped out of its socket while
No.
making that movie.
Oh my gosh.
So, I mean, can you? I mean, oh,
And they
jeez.
got it back in?
Oh, of course.
Oh my
yeah.
gosh. Ew.
But then they did like a bunch of others, like the other cast members, just like broken bones, broken knees.
No, that one takes the cake. Eyeball
just-
popping out. Oh my gosh.
Just these guys get shredded, and we just love them for it, you know. So yeah,
Wholesome
25 million.
entertainment.
Oh yes,
Wholesome
indeed.
entertainment.
Ugh.
I can't wait for them to film Jackass Eternally. It'll be them in about 20 years, and this time they'll actually have like walking canes and things like that, and it'll just be them in a nursing home, and it'll be awesome.
They'll have like hearing aids and stuff, and they're like, blow it up, blow what up, blow it up. I can't hear you. Did you say blow it up?
Instead of going to the hospital for broken kneecaps and all that, it'll be to go get like their meds to stay sane or anything like that.
Gosh.
That would be, yes, that is the next Jackass film.
I mean, their
Oh
medical
man, now I can't speak.
their
Ileana.
medical bills are already up the wazoo. So
That's usually where you keep your medical bills.
up the wazoo. Anyways, speaking of wazoo, I don't know. Avatar: The Last Airbender show is going to be CGI. That was a good segue, wasn't that one?
No.
Yeah.
So that would be exciting. It's going to be computer graphics. Is that going to be the whole thing, or like the people? They're going to be. Is it just the environments? What is CGI? Is there any news on that one?
If I had to guess, I would say the whole thing would be CGI. Maybe like I don't know. The first thing that pops in my mind is Clone Wars. How they did that with Cartoon Network, something like that. But I don't know.
Yeah. I think that's probably a fair comparison. Definitely.
Wait, is this the one that's going to be the one that they've been live casted?
No, there is a lot going on with Avatar. It just exploded. There is this whole thing going on. So
I feel like, you've got Brian Konietzko and Michael DiMartino doing their own thing, and then you have Nickelodeon doing their own thing, and then other stuff going on. It's almost hard to keep track of, like,
Right. I was confused when you said CGI. I thought you meant the TV show that's going to be coming out on Netflix. The
No.
live action one. I was like, okay, what's CGI about it? I mean, I would assume like the special effects have to be CGI. But okay, so the TV show that's animated is going to be a CGI.
Yes, and there are a lot of projects going on right now revolving around Avatar. No names to anything yet. No definite things, but there is a
one.
there's a lot of buzz about exploring more of that universe. So it may not even have to center around the
gang.
actual Avatar. Yeah, it could be just the people around it, living in this world. So
I mean,
I'm
they
really
have a
excited for
fully
that.
fleshed out war that would be super exciting to dig into from, either non-benders' perspective. Like, they have the earthbenders fighting on the front lines. That would be super cool.
Well, on top of that, you also have past avatars that we're aware of. Avatar Roku, Avatar all the way to Yang Chen, and so on, Kyoshi. Korok, I think that's his name.
Correct,
So
yeah.
you've got a lot of avatars to explore. We're not going to talk about Avatar 1, Ileana's favorite. So, no, that's Ileana's favorite. You said it.
Of season 4? Yeah, that's not saying much.
No, that's season 2.
2.
That's
Oh,
season
yeah,
2.
forget it. Still not saying much. But
Yeah, so, there's a lot to explore there. There's a lot of stories that they can revolve around just that. So, good stuff. Good stuff.
that is some good stuff. More good stuff is Madden 22 has historically poor views.
How is that good stuff?
It's not.
man?
That's the complete opposite. Very ironic statement. But people are still buying it. How?
So I like Madden. I like playing simulated football. I love doing
They look
franchises.
so awful.
I'm a fan. I really like playing it. I think it's such a fun game to just pick up and play anytime, to play, simulated football. But the last Madden that I had was Madden 2020, and I played the crap out of it.
Doesn't Wesley have one that he plays?
Yeah, I played with Wesley online a couple times.
Oh,
yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, we've got a few iterations of it.
And the thing is, here's the thing. If you're a big Madden fan, I just don't understand buying it every year. It's kind of like the Call of Duty thing, or all those kind of games. Buying a new iteration it's just not even worth it. Is it just because
they put different players in, or...
Well, not even necessarily, because you can update the roster.
Yeah, and that's kind of the whole deal, and that's why everybody's super upset if you're like a fan with EA, because they have this monopoly on Madden, and they don't update the game at all graphically. It's the same graphics, the same like commentary of like the past 3 years. They don't change it up. They just maybe do a few changes here and there, add some new play styles. Here, $70 Madden, that's it. Go play.
Gosh.
And so go ahead.
So with the Madden games, you can have like these solo campaigns where it's almost a story mode, where you start out in high school as a high school player, going through college, and then making your way all the way up to NFL. And so they switch up the story every now and then, where it's little differences here and there, but just minor ones. But then, in addition to that, the target audience is not the casual gamer. They're not looking for people that, have to have a huge library of various games.
Right.
They're going after the people that, maybe have a couple of games that say, oh, I haven't had a football game. So they're just going to churn it out. And because they don't, EA doesn't put a lot of changes into it, that means they don't have to put as much money into it. So they get all of these millions of dollars from having to do little to nothing with it.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, it really is unfortunate. But that's the nature of the beast, and that's one of the reasons why I can't stand EA. And a lot of these gamers are so against EA's practices. It goes further than that. But
yeah, in fact, it even goes into like their the loot boxes. They even have a variation of that within the Madden game, where you can build up like a perfect team and play people online. So they're actually allowing like kids to like gamble to get like the best players. So spend this much money, you can get all these players, and kids have access to that and everything. EA's making Madden, even without having like that license to do NFL stuff, they make $1 billion off the Madden game easily. But they don't put any of that money back into making this game fresh and new and updating it.
The worst offender is actually FIFA, because FIFA.
Really?
Oh yes, because
indeed,
football, wow. American football is more of an American thing, obviously.
Right. Yes.
But when it comes to FIFA, it's a worldwide thing.
Yes.
And so you've got more people buying FIFA than Madden. And the practices for that are so disgusting. There's a lot of what I would call child gambling, like targeted at children.
Yeah.
So it's come to the eye of I guess the industry. It's not invisible anymore. People talk about it. And people,
it's got to be regulated. It's got to get regulated.
And it's gotten to the point where there have been lawsuits and laws created, especially in Europe. If you look at Europe, they've been trying to really disband the whole idea of loot boxes just in FIFA, because it is
really.
Yeah, look it up.
Wow.
Europe is on top of that. For real.
Wow.
Get rid
it
of
just sucks, because I love playing like football and playing the game and everything, but it's like, why even bother if they're not gonna make this thing clean? And it's glitchy, it's garbage, it's the same stuff over and over. I might as well just play the one I had from 2 years ago, which plays as decent as possible. You know what I mean?
Show do.
Well, with that, next on our list, the Dune Reviews call it the great science fiction film, Dune.
So, director Denis Villeneuve, one of the great up-and-coming directors of our time. If you've seen Arrival with Amy Adams, is one of the best films in the past 10 years. Or if you saw Blade Runner 2049, I think that's what that one was called.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a fantastic visual director. And here, Dune was supposed to come out last year, one of those COVID films, but it's finally getting released. And it's one of those movies that they're saying you have to see this in the theater because it's expansive. It's made to be seen in IMAX to get that full theatrical experience and all that. So people are saying visually it's up there with like Lawrence of Arabia, like a science fiction Lawrence of Arabia. So I'm definitely going to check it out. It's got a huge cast with a lot of big names in it. Ileana, your boy, Timothy Chalamet.
Still have never seen a thing that he's been in.
A movie he's in.
I
Katie, your girl Zendaya, she's in it.
Zendaya.
Okay,
Zendaya.
I don't even, care.
I like Zendaya.
Okay, all right, your guy Momoa, he's in it then.
Jason
Oh, okay,
Momoa.
yeah. Now we're talking.
Oh my god.
Okay, so yeah, and yeah, so that's gonna be a good one when that finally gets released here. So.
Another good one is Shang-Chi breaks box office records. Good for Shang-Chi. I was hoping it would do well. I'm very happy for them.
I can't wait to see. I'm gonna see it this weekend. I'm gonna try to get out there. I just hear great action, really funny. Aquafina. I think the main guy, his name is Simon Liu. Check that out. I might be wrong. Forgive me if I'm wrong, but I hear the dude is a star. I hear he is just like the next action star, and I'm thrilled as heck. Can't wait to see it. 71 million? Dude, Black Widow.
Just
what
over
the
Labor
heck,
Day.
man?
Like, people are on vacation. People usually don't go see movies during that time. So that's awesome.
So check this out, though. I just saw that when ScarJo was doing the deal with Disney and Marvel to do Black Widow, she wanted $100 million.
To make the movie?
For her pay for that movie.
Oh my gosh.
That's what she wanted. That movie. Listen, when you get paid as an actor to make $100 million, that means your movie has got to make like 200 million opening weekend.
Right.
You know, because then you're not worth it. There's no way you can pay somebody $100 million up front. So I know I'm on ScarJo's side on a lot of this stuff, but also Black Widow is not gonna pull 200 million in a pandemic.
It was a good movie, but it's right. Pandemic numbers are spiking up again, so people aren't gonna go see movies. And it's still
a B. It's a B level. It was on Disney Plus.
Okay.
It's streaming on Disney Plus too. But you're the B level superhero. You're the sidekick pretty much. Mm-hmm. I don't know what to say. Like, do you deserve $100 million? I don't think so. Not for Black Widow.
I'll even say this. For advertising reasons, the movie wasn't very much advertised with, like, a plot. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. When I saw commercials for the film, it was just like, Black Widow. All right, cool. What's it about? I don't know. I don't care. Because
they should have honestly made this movie 5-6 years ago.
Right.
They should have made it before Infinity War. Then it would have fit in. Maybe it probably would have done a lot better at the box office. That's kind of I think that's a Marvel thing that they messed up on making this. They should have made this film a lot earlier.
Right.
I mean, I thought the film was okay, but to pay Scarlett Johansson $100 million, no, I'd pay her $50 million maybe, not $100 million for that.
Yeah, that's just a shame, and it's like, I don't know, you kind of have
to. But
be
just big ups to Shang-Chi though. I hope that they're gonna Hollywood, Marvel, the industry, they're looking at it and like, we need to continue with these. Definitely. Look, I mean, Crazy Rich Asians, Shang-Chi, there's a market out there for a lot of these Asian-led films,
Right.
excuse me. Let's keep them rolling, please, because people, I love them. Everybody loves them. Obviously, people love them. They're going to go see them.
Yeah. Other news. I'm getting dinged by KT to mention Matrix 4.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yes, y'all. I think it's getting serious. There's a trailer. I have not seen it, but I've seen a picture of Keanu Reeves.
I think the trailer's supposed to actually release tomorrow, September 9th. I've read some news. September 9th tomorrow, Matrix 4 trailer is finally being released. I've heard like some bits and pieces of what it's supposed to be. No spoilers. You guys that can't handle watching trailers can stink it, because you guys annoy me. I just don't like it.
I know so many people like that who are like, spoilers! I can't even watch a trailer.
Listen,
I can't even see what it's
I
like.
can't even watch a trailer? Get the heck out of here. What are you, stupid or something?
Whoa.
Oh my goodness.
I'm serious.
Fighting
No, and
words.
you guys are out there, and you guys need to grow up. Grow up.
Whoa.
Watch the trailer, get hyped like the rest of us, okay? Now, I'm gonna go into this completely blind. I don't want to know a thing. Shut up.
Whoa.
Get out of here. Oh,
Whoa.
God.
Scared.
All right,
I'm
maybe-
No, it
afraid.
pisses me off. Seriously.
Maybe
like,
we'll have a further
it's
conversation
so
about
annoying.
this.
We need to, because we need to call these guys out. Like, don't post
Whoa.
anything on social media with trailers. Get out of here.
Why do you sound like a neckbeard? Like,
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to have this discussion someday
Oh my
of
God.
spoilers beforehand and spoilers after.
Look,
When is
no,
appropriate timing.
No, listen, there is a line, and we can talk about this later, but there is a line. Obviously, I'm not going to go and telling what happened at the end of Infinity War, okay?
Yeah.
When it comes out opening night, I'm not going to be like, whoa, freaking Thanos, I wouldn't do that, because that is sucky. But don't stop me from watching the trailer, and you watch the trailer, okay? The trailer is not going to give away everything. You know how trailers work now? They're so edited. The beginning is the end. The middle is the beginning. You just don't even know.
I
Come on,
actually
man.
had this one person who I followed on Instagram one time when it was either Infinity War or Endgame came out, where they were like maybe 2 or 3 days had passed since the movie came out, and they started posting spoilers of like artwork that they did for it, and they got crapped on by people being like, oh my gosh, I haven't even seen the movie yet. Like, I'm a fan of yours. How could you be doing this? And the person's like, if you were really a fan, you would have seen it by now. And it was like,
I could agree with that. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, this has to be a conversation later on, because that's insane.
my goodness.
I'm so against that. That's messed up. But anyways, that is the end of the news segment. If you've made it this far,
Holy
congratulations.
moly.
You're on your way to the chunk. KT, we are exercising. What do you got for us?
We are exercising. Thank you for listening this far. If you've made it this far, oh my, what a champ. What a legend. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about bridge lifts. I first saw this and did it, and I was like, what on earth? I did it a few months ago, and I was thinking, everybody in the gym has got to be staring at me. But not really. It's become a popular exercise to do. So what it is you lay on your back, and you have your knees bent upright, and you basically just lift up your core. And that's it. And you hold it. You lift it up slowly to where your booty is off the ground. And then you just lower yourself back down. You lower your hips and your glutes. And it exercises your abs as well as thine booty. Depending on how your form is, your calves can also get a little bit tight, depending on what you're doing. But then you can also move to your sides, lay on your right arm or your left arm, and just lift yourself off the ground, and you're going to get yourselves some exercises on your sides. So it looks silly, but it is very effective. Once again, that is the bridge lift. So, eat local, exercise daily. Is that my new slogan? I haven't decided on.
Sure, that sounds good to me. Eat local, exercise daily.
Yeah.
All right, Brian, you got a streaming pick for us this week.
Yes, absolutely. On Amazon Prime, there's a certain film out there from one of our infamous directors of all time, Mr. Mel Gibson himself, and it's a film called Apocalypto. Now, let me tell you, this movie is in a dead language. It's the story about the fall of the Mayans, or a Mayan-like culture, in like the 1500s in Mesoamerica. It is one of the greatest movies ever made, with so much detail, so much beautiful cinematography, so much action, character building. It is one of the greatest films of all time from one of the most underappreciated but also infamous directors of all time. In 2006, Mel Gibson made Apocalypto, and right around that time, it was his infamous drunken anti-Semitic comments that derailed this film from being widely accepted as it should be. It is an absolute masterpiece. What Mel Gibson does in Apocalypto is, it's almost science fiction. He takes you into a world unlike anything you've ever seen in the modern era. You are completely taken out of your home and put into the Mayan jungles, where it was a tough, brutal, barbaric world, but this was how this culture lived and everything. But it's so far out of it, and you're just placed in this world and just immersed in this culture and in this story. You have to watch it. It is in subtitles. If you're like a good cinema goer, subtitles won't bother you. You'll just enjoy the visuals on the screen, and you'll just delight in that. This is a very rated R film. It's extremely violent, very brutal. But I will tell you this, my mother, who abhors rated R films,
Yep, she does.
watched this film and she loved it. She enjoyed it because of the true experience that this film puts you in. Look, if you've seen Braveheart, you know Mel Gibson knows his way around an action scene, okay? If you've seen Passion of the Christ, you know that Mel Gibson is able to tell emotionally stirring stories.
Was Mel Gibson in that revolutionary movie?
The Patriot.
Yeah.
He didn't direct that one, but he did. I mean, he starred in that.
So good.
But I think Apocalypto might be his masterpiece, because everything you want in a movie is in there, and it must be seen. It is just so criminally underappreciated. I have to make it a Brian's pick of the week, pick of a lifetime. Apocalypto, please see this film.
And with that, we have made it to the chunk.
Chunk.
Welcome to the chunk. This is now the pop culture battle. So thank you guys for making it this far. We are going to be going through what is more culturally important. Obviously, these things are all very important, so that's why we're going to be battling it out. Which one do you think is most important? They are all important. Which one is most? So, up on the chopping block first, we have Paul McCartney from the Beatles versus the Super Bowl. Brian, why did you put these two together?
So, I just want to kind of set the stage on it. I was just thinking of, like, at the end of the day, especially in our modern culture, which of these items, Paul McCartney and then the Super Bowl, which is more culturally relevant, which is so important to not even just like the American culture, but global culture. You have Paul McCartney, one of the four members of the Beatles, arguably one of the greatest rock bands of all time, an amazing solo artist, just one of the greats of pop culture music videos, not just that, but he's just an icon. You know, concerts, TV shows, appearances. The man has done it all over, you know, almost a 60-year career.
Well, he's just changed
you know?
the face of music, as we know it.
Absolutely. Just, at the end of the day, if Paul McCartney were to die today, what would the world be like? What would it shut down? Would it be like? I can't imagine a world where Paul McCartney's not here. So then you have the Super Bowl, which is, it's still a very American non-holiday, but holiday, where everybody around the world, around the country watches a game, a very American game, but it's just not just a football game. There's Super Bowl commercials. There's the show after the Super Bowl. There's the halftime show. There's the stories about the athletes, the greatest of all time, the Tom Brady's, the history of the Super Bowl, the 60s. That's America in a bowl, So at the end of the day, if you had to lose one, or which is more, and I know we have one that's music, and I know for most of the time in this show, bump that, we don't really discuss music or sports, but I just wanted to, but I think these items go beyond just music and sports. They're what make us right now. If we didn't have them, we wouldn't be us in a way.
Right.
So if you guys had to put it in your way, which would be more important?
Okay, so as a musician, you would think that I would pick Paul McCartney as being more culturally relevant, but not really. Not in my opinion. Because I think music is sort of drifting away from Paul McCartney. It's not like how it used to be, where Elvis was the thing, or even Prince was the thing. Prince was amazing, but he passed away, and that was it. Same with Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson passed away, and while it was a big thing, he's gone. But if you have the Super Bowl brings people together. I have two ways of looking at this. The Super Bowl brings people together, brings families together. It gets people talking for weeks and weeks. And it's something that you can enjoy without, having to know anything about it. You could just get together with friends and just watch the game and have snacks and watch the halftime show and decide whether or not it was good. Now, I say all that, but the Super Bowl has been losing popularity throughout the years. I think it's just become a little too big for its britches. It is just a game. When you take a step back, it is just a game, a very big game. In a sport that is mostly exclusive to just one country. So it's hard to gauge, which is going to be a little bit heavier. But in this case, I would have to say, for myself personally, I would have to say I would hate to lose the Super Bowl before Paul McCartney.
Interesting. Ileana, what are your thoughts?
So, with Katie bringing all of that up, I think she also, opened up something in my mind that I didn't really think about. Is that, with Elvis gone, with Prince gone, the time still goes on. And, gosh, Michael Jackson is, wait, what did I say? Oh, Elvis and Prince, yeah. Michael Jackson as well, him being the, Prince of Pop, and, or King of Pop, whatever they called him, and him just creating this whole genre that we've never heard before. And looking at Paul McCartney changing the face of pop music and rock music as we know it now, it was really groundbreaking at the time of the 60s and 70s with the way that they're experimenting with this music. And I don't think that, someone else would come along, I feel like, but with the four of those guys together and at the time that it happened, it was exactly like where it needed to be at that time. And I don't know. And then looking at the Super Bowl, it's, you know, like you said, a cultural phenomenon where it brings everybody together. You don't really have to be a part of it. But then you look at, that's just the United States, really. Not everybody else looks at the Super Bowl and is paying attention to it. But the world was looking at the Beatles. And I feel like that is the bigger aspect of it, is that it didn't just stay within this land is your land, this land is my land. It went outward. Like, the Beatles went international completely. So I'm going to give it to Paul McCartney in this one, that I feel like he is more culturally important.
I'm gonna agree with you, and here's my reasoning for it. Okay, so name one person alive right now who's more popular than Paul McCartney right now. Somebody who doesn't know the Beatles. Name what a person.
Katy Perry.
Katy Perry is more popular than Paul McCartney.
I can prove it with numbers. If you go,
I'm not talking about Twitter followers or
no,
or anything like that.
No. If you go on YouTube, the highest amount of hits on a video, it's not Beatles related. It's not Paul McCartney, and that is combined with all the other things. It's Katy Perry. Musically, yes. Dark Horse, just Dark Horse has over 1 billion views.
Okay, well then I could argue the same thing for BTS. I mean, everybody knows who BTS is at this point. However,
well, that's my point. That's precisely my point.
No, my thing is that Paul McCartney is from the 60s. And people my age and younger still know who he is.
And I feel that's a very important key, because people are still discovering Paul McCartney.
How many old people in their 80s and 70s know who Katy Perry is?
We discovered the Beatles, that music, and we loved it, and we fell in love with it. And I feel that generations will continue to discover and love that music because it's universal. It's very, Katy Perry is like Madonna, and Britney Spears. At the end of the day,
they'll all fade into nothingness.
And I'm not saying anything against those artists or anything. They're fine for what they are and everything.
Right.
But at the end of the day, the Beatles and Paul McCartney and everything that he's done in over half a century of music and art and culture and everything.
Right.
I feel like that's just
you see legendary artwork of theirs, the walking on the street or whatever thing.
Abbey Road, yeah.
On the road. Well, people in their 90s, 80s, and 70s know that, and people who are 5 years old know that's the Beatles.
Now, is that just Paul McCartney or the culmination of the Beatles?
I mean, he is the Beatles, so...
He's not... No, you had John Lennon, George Harrison, the other guy, Ringo.
But,
the other guy.
Yeah, I mean, Paul McCartney was... I mean, right now, he's the face of the Beatles.
Right, he's the one that is still living, and like you just
Ringo,
said...
Ringo is there.
Oh, okay.
Ringo's there, but he's the face.
Okay, think of that name. You have Ringo Starr. That is a very extreme name. Who remembers him? Not too many people. You have John Lennon. That's a pretty good, name to remember. Not many people are going to name him as the first Beatles person. When you start listing off members of the Beatles, you're probably going to start off with Paul McCartney. And that's a very bland name. Paul McCartney? That's a Joe on the street, That's a Joe Butt name.
I don't know.
Go ahead, Katie.
I feel like you can interchange that name with someone like Paul Simon, who has had an extensive career for 50 years. I don't know. It just seems like if you were to pull out somebody that has been around since that time as an entertainer, of course it's going to, especially if they're still alive, it works the same way. If I were to say, Willie Nelson, you know, is he more important than the Super Bowl? I don't know.
Okay,
I'm just
so
seeing it that way.
my thing is I know the name. I don't know who that is.
Willie Nelson?
Don't know who that is.
Okay.
And Paul Simon, I know the name. Don't know who it is.
All right. Well, you win that argument then, because
the Super Bowl. I will say that both are very culturally important. But I think that Paul McCartney himself.
Let me put it to you guys another way. So when John Lennon sadly passed away in the 80s, I think it was like 1980. He was murdered. Everybody knows like where they were when they heard that John Lennon died. Just like when everybody knew where they were when 9/11 happened. You guys know exactly where you were when 9/11 happened, or when like JFK died, for those people that were alive back then.
Mine was Michael Jackson.
So like when MJ died, you know exactly what happened. So if say tomorrow Paul McCartney dies, can you imagine the media outbreak that would happen? I'm just trying to think, like the funerals, and then the outpouring of grief.
There are people who just like base their entire like persona on.
But then compare it to say
the
that
Super Bowl ending.
Yeah, they had to cancel the Super Bowl. They can't do it anymore. Like all of us, just kind of like baseball. Baseball is not as popular as it used to be. The NFL is not as popular as it used to be. Just no more World Series, no more Super Bowl. Kind of like that. At the end of the day, which one would be like, what the heck?
Yeah, gut-wrenching. I don't know.
With the Super Bowl, or if there is a Super Bowl, but it's just not as big as a party and an event as it used to be. Now it's just like, oh, I'm going to the bar to watch the Super Bowl. While everybody, it's like when Diana got married, or, just the royals got married or something. It was an event. So I don't even know if I'm making sense, but I don't know.
I think it's just a matter of interests, to be honest. With the Super Bowl, if we did not have a Super Bowl, then I think a lot of other things would disappear. I think a lot of musical acts would actually disappear. You would actually see a decline in sales for advertising, like as far as merchandise, McDonald's, Doritos, beer.
I'll give you that one.
PepsiCo.
That's a good point.
That's a good point.
Great point.
And then you would also not have, going back to camaraderie, you wouldn't have these parties where they wouldn't matter. Not Super Bowl parties, but it wouldn't even matter from the get-go. Football wouldn't matter from the get-go. You wouldn't have a reason to watch when oh my gosh, the name just escaped me. When college players get drafted, you wouldn't have a reason.
The NFL draft. Yeah,
you wouldn't have a reason to watch the NFL draft, and then on top of that, you wouldn't have a reason to oh my gosh, I can't think. When you build your own team, what is that? You
Fantasy
do
football.
Yeah, oh my gosh, you wouldn't have.
It's my hobby. I love that stuff.
Exactly, and Wesley does it too. You wouldn't have fantasy football, and then on top of that, in addition to, why even have college football? Because what are they going to aspire to?
You make a good point.
And so while it's not a universal thing, it is a huge part of American culture. Even if the Super Bowl were to, even fade just a little bit in obscurity, which I will admit it is headed that way, you still have all of these economics that go into it, social and economics.
Who's gonna be buying the Budweiser and the Doritos?
Exactly. Exactly.
Meltdown.
Exactly.
If you guys want to leave a comment down below what you guys think of all the ones that we talk about, we need to keep moving on with the next one.
Hey, this is a good discussion, though. I'm glad.
No, I really like that.
I really like
great.
that point.
So, what do you guys think? Paul McCartney or the Super Bowl is more culturally important? We've got two more to go through. This one is gonna be. I can't get on.
So,
tangent.
Pixar Animation or Japanese animation, which is more culturally.
This-
If you had to pick one, if you had to choose one, which one would be? Which one serves as entertainment? Which one serves more as art? Which one is more satisfying? And there's lots of different, pieces here. Lots of different things to chew on.
This is so hard for me because.
And part of it too is that both of these influence each other too.
Right. Mm-hmm.
They absolutely do. I mean, a lot of these Pixar animators today, they started with
Astro
watching
Boy.
Ghost in the Shell.
Astro Boy. That's where it all began. It with Japanese anime. Astro Boy. He was the guy, and oh gosh, I don't even know what year that is. 60s, 70s, something like that. And he really skyrocketed Japanese anime. And then, okay, so you've got that from, long time ago. And now you have Pixar Animation that starts in, they start making these stuff, Steve Jobs, John Lasseter, all these
80s,
other guys in the 80s, with the computers becoming bigger and, being able to make these computer animated creatures. And so... that starts off in the 80s around that time and then starts to get into production in the 90s, early 90s. And it just builds from there. Like, they are the pioneers of this stuff. And so both people are pioneers of amazing things that, you've got Japanese anime that is worldwide known. But then you also have these Pixar movies that are also worldwide known. But the ones that... Japanese anime is way more in abundance than Pixar films. There's only 20-something, 30-something films?
20-something.
20-something films that have been made. How many gazillion animes have been made now? Or, movies and other things that have come from it. So, gosh, I literally, not even to mention the animation styles. Like, you have 2D and 3D animation within Japanese anime, and then in Pixar you've got this 3D gorgeous animation that you've seen progress through the years as technology has gotten more advanced. So, and both are just beautiful, absolutely astounding to look at. But I honestly have no idea. I'm really stuck.
And I wouldn't make you pick one. I wouldn't you have to choose one or you die. It's not
so
Sophie's
hard.
choice.
Well, and here's my thinking, and this is gonna be a hard pill for me to swallow, is that I think we're seeing a huge rise in animation, Japanese culture as a whole in the United States, which is great. I love it. You have things like Crunchyroll, where you have you're able to watch. Yeah, you're able to watch a ton of Japanese animation things. And you have kids that are, trying to emulate that as well. They're trying to, act like what they see.
Right.
Hashtag Naruto run. And it's not a bad thing. But then you also have more, that's just anime. And then you have the more artistic things, which they're very, more, how am I trying to say? I don't even know what I'm trying to say, but they're more serious about their craft. They handle it with the same care that Pixar does. And it's true that Pixar does not have as much product, I'll call it product, to put out there. So you've got numerous studios versus one. But this one studio has managed to change the face of animation across the globe for many years to come, and they're still molding their craft as well. Still, you cannot ignore the importance of Japanese animation, and even so, taking it back to Toonami, even. And their introduction of Sailor Moon and Dragon Ball Z and Rurouni Kenshin and Yu Yu Hakusho and things like that, really bringing that to not just the Western audience, but primetime TV, and from there it just exploded. And so I think there is a good argument of which holds more weight. Is it Pixar or is it Japanese anime? I think I'm gonna have to give it to Japanese animation.
And I want Brian to also speak on this too, but one thing I'm also going to say is that anime is not as equally accepted as Pixar Animation is, where, you know, children and adults alike can watch Pixar films and get something out of it, whereas anime has been looked at either like for children, that it's childlike and immature, or that it's violent and not appropriate. So I think there's a lot of back and forth, where anime has this stigma against either being inappropriate, not for children, or being too childlike. So I think that's another thing to take into consideration.
Yeah, for me, when I think about it, I mean, there's more anime than you can ever watch in a lifetime.
Right.
You know? So much of that. And you know what? Not all of it is even that good, actually.
Yeah.
There's some of it that's, you know, for every awesome anime show, you know, you have
There's
probably
a
two
Squid
or
Girl.
three. Yeah, there's two or
There's
three.
Squid Girl.
And then two, a lot of anime is so stylized,
Right.
so symbolic. It's not just, you know, like a straight off adventure story. A lot of it is very relative to to the Japanese culture. But then there's some weird stuff in anime too that it's really hard to swallow. It's hard to even take in, and just like, as pure art, it's like, this is some weird stuff.
You can go figure out what those things are yourself.
And I mean, and you know what? There's a lot of really dark and evil stuff in anime too. That with a lot of artists that act out their worst impulses, and while they don't maybe do it in real life, they put it onto the paper and onto the screen. So what is misogyny? That's not a word.
Misogynistic.
Misogyny, thank you. Against women, you know, depictions of violence and sexual abuse, just, you know, all squalid, really bad stuff. You know, so I mean, so yeah, you know, you could have a guy like Miyazaki who makes beautiful art, you know, but then you have these other guys that, you know, artists that are just
got like
garbage. Either it's garbage, it's not even really good, or it's just plain evil and dumb.
You've got like Full Metal Alchemist, where you're watching a child and a dog be merged together, and you're like, oh my gosh, how did someone come up with this?
So, like, for me, for a lot of my, you know, my history with anime, it's like, you know, a lot of the stuff you guys have seen, probably like a lot of the surface level stuff and a lot of the, you know, Miyazaki stuff, which I adore, you know, but then, which, you know, you got the guys on Pixar that, like, they love that guy. They worship him.
Yeah.
Miyazaki is a god to those guys at Pixar Animation. But then, you know, you have other than Lasseter, he's gone, he's not in the picture, but those other guys, the Pete Doctors, the Andrew Stantons, everything that they do, they're geniuses, mad geniuses that make, you know, films and art that anyone can enjoy, and that I think audiences will love for generations. So,
that
you know,
was so hard.
I could never choose, like, just, you know, put a gun to my head, I won't choose. I'd be like,
yeah,
I love both,
if you had to choose one to watch for the rest of your life, Pixar or anime.
You know, I feel like sometimes with Pixar, you know what it is a box of chocolates. You don't know what you're gonna get, but it's gonna be good. You know the chocolates are gonna be good. With anime, you're getting a bomb and a box of chocolates. The bomb is ticking, so you don't know what's gonna happen. So you're trying to eat the chocolates. So yeah, I mean it's like spicy chocolate with Japanese anime.
Like it's so hard to pick, because even literally my favorite movie of all time is a Pixar film, The Bug's Life, if you guys don't know. So it's like, how do you
don't know?
If you don't know, I'm gonna talk about it a lot, but but anime, you know, I started watching anime as a child and got back into it in high school, and I haven't stopped since, and it's completely changed, you know, just the way I live my life. So, and that's, you know, maybe silly to say, like, oh, something so much changed your life. It's like, no, it really has, but, like, I don't know.
That's good.
I don't know. I'm looking around my Pixar laden room.
Yeah, I know. You got your posters behind you.
and on my closet door, I actually have an up towel. It's hanging there, just floating as my fan is blowing. I don't know. It's tough. I think all I can say are both are very important.
Very
they're,
good.
They're very important in their own right. One is a cultural thing. You know, it's like an export. It really is. And so you have this good from a country, and it's good. And then you have Pixar in another place. Two, you know, you could say they're the same medium, but two very different styles. They hold just as much water.
Japanese anime is IKEA. I'm gonna say that. Japanese anime is IKEA. You have an IKEA in every state, and you can't wait to go because it's so good. That is Japanese anime.
Well,
is
then
IKEA.
at the same time, and I'll be brief, you have this style of Japanese animation that extends past just the animation. If you look at video games, you know, how many times has this argument popped up where you have the anime sword fighter that pops into, you know, video games here and there? You can't walk into a game store without seeing something like that. Whereas on the other hand, you have people that try to imitate Pixar. So I don't know.
I know you wouldn't get some of these movie companies without Pixar. Literally, DreamWorks wouldn't exist without Pixar.
Literally.
And Disney and all those, like,
we wouldn't have Shrek.
We wouldn't have Shrek. So, I don't know. Leave in the comments down below what you guys think. And now, do we want to do Back to the Future versus Ghostbusters?
Let's do it really quick. If you put a gun to your head, which one do you want more?
I don't really care about either one.
Exactly. I'm not really a huge fan of either.
What? No.
I don't care about either one.
Murray,
wait a minute.
Bill Murray completely ruins Ghostbusters.
Wait a minute. You guys don't really care for Ghostbusters and Back to the Future?
No.
Why? Why?
Back to the Future I've seen once. Ghostbusters I've seen more, but I hate Bill Murray, so it's...
Why do you not like my dad, Bill Murray? He's great.
Okay. No, he's a butthole.
Can't stand him.
No, that's
Osmosis
impersonal.
Jones.
That's in the personal.
But you can see it on his
Osmosis
face.
Jones.
You can see it on his face. He's
I can't
really
even
smug.
believe you guys.
No.
Yeah,
Okay,
because he's hilarious and awesome.
If I had to pick one, I would pick Ghostbusters.
I would pick Ghostbusters as well. Culturally important Ghostbusters.
Why?
Back to the
I can't
Future.
believe it's so easy for you guys.
Well, Back to the Future. The reason why I don't really care about Back to the Future is it just has those '80s tropes that I'm just
yeah.
tired
So
of.
yeah. So yeah. So.
Okay, so
I'm not saying it's bad.
My thing here.
Wait a minute. It was
Wait.
made in the '80s. It's not like it's
That's
like
what I'm saying.
stereotyping the
Your
'80s.
own daughter knew the Ghostbusters song at like 1 year old. And that, I think, alone says it all. And anybody else who hears the you know that's from Ghostbusters.
Look, my girls both saw 1, 2, and 3 Back to the Future movies this summer. They love them.
Yeah, and I think most people do.
Yeah.
But culturally important, I think more Ghostbusters. You know, the Michelin
no
Man.
way. You guys
The
are
ghosts.
Well,
It's not
well,
it's
Brian.
the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. Thank you.
No, okay,
Whatever.
Brian. You also have a slogan with Ghostbusters. The slogan goes a long way. Who you gonna call? Ghostbusters. Everybody
And a
knows
song.
that.
What
Yeah,
Back to the
everybody knows-
Future has so many quotable lines? Are
But
you
it's
guys
not a
kidding me?
slogan. It's not a
No. Yeah, exactly. A line is not a slogan.
Out of time. Out of time is not a
Nope.
slogan.
I couldn't name one thing about Back to the Future as I could Ghostbusters,
I
and I
can't
don't even
believe
like
you
either
guys
one.
are trashing Back to the Future
Okay,
right now.
nobody's trashing
She
Back to the
is.
Future.
Ileana is saying
I
that it
like-
has no cultural
I did
relevance.
not say
You're
that.
saying it's just a trope of the 80s.
All right,
You guys
so
are saying that
please,
it's like
listen,
you guys
listen.
are looking at Christopher
Oh,
Lloyd.
my lordy Lou.
He's gonna bite the bullet any day, buy the farm, and you guys are saying not Christopher Nolan, Christopher Lloyd, you can beat it, okay? That's really what you guys are saying.
Wait a minute. That's not what we're saying.
Whoa.
That's not what we're saying.
Whoa.
If it'll make you feel better, Lord, we would not have Rick and Morty.
Oh, for real, we wouldn't have Rick and Morty, and Rick and Morty's awesome.
My gosh.
Look, I like Rick and Morty, but we're talking about Back to the Future. We're not
But we
talking
wouldn't-
about.
We wouldn't have Melissa McCarthy as a Ghostbuster if it wasn't for
Oh,
her
God.
Ghostbuster.
Oh, jeez.
Melissa
That-
McCarthy,
that was a
everyone.
good one.
Brian, but look, nobody is saying that Back to the Future is a bad franchise. I'm saying, out of the two,
Mm-hmm.
I personally think that Ghostbusters will hold up
I
longer.
am with KT.
Okay, here's the thing. This is the deal breaker right here, okay?
Okay.
DeLorean or Ecto? Ecto 1. Pick one.
Ecto 1.
You've got to be kidding me. A flying DeLorean as a time machine, and you pick the Ghostbusters mobile, the Ecto
Yep.
1.
I do.
I can't even.
I do.
can't
There
even.
are a lot more of those types of vehicles that you can deck out and take to shows.
A station wagon.
Yeah.
There are DeLoreans out there, too.
No, they're not. No, there are
Yes,
not.
there are.
They were
I have a neighbor that
discontinued.
has one.
Well, you
Yeah.
got it from some junker.
Yeah,
Because they're
Whoa.
but it's
discontinued.
look. Obviously, there's only like 1,000 DeLoreans out in the world right now. Okay, but they're
Literally, because it was a dumb car.
so. I can't
Wow,
even. I can't
that
believe
is-
you guys
This is
are
awesome.
like everything. Back to the Future is so great. You guys are treating it like a redheaded stepchild. I don't understand.
No, you're asking us to defend something that we don't care about. That's
And I think
what it
more,
boils down
m-
to.
How?
even not personally.
Why?
Even not personally. I think more people would say Ghostbusters is more
No.
culturally impactful than Back to the Future. And I want to know what you guys in the comments.
President
think, 'cause this is
Ronald
hilarious.
Reagan's
Oh
favorite
my
film, Back to the Future.
Oh my gosh.
So
Brian's
And
what?
he's your
babiness is coming
president.
out. Brian's 80 babiness is coming out.
I know, my
What?
gosh.
Listen, I love Ghostbusters. I love Ghostbusters 2. I actually prefer Ghostbusters 2 to Ghostbusters 1. That's how much a fan I am of the series. But I just can't believe you guys are just like disregarding Back to the Future like it's like nothing.
Chopped
You know,
liver.
like Michael J. Fox on the hoverboard is nothing. Like Christopher Lloyd, driving around in the DeLorean is nothing. Like
But
Biff,
Sigourney Weaver-
hello, McFly, hello, anybody home? Like
But
that's
Sigourney
nothing to
Weaver.
you guys.
It's not. It's nothing.
Back to the Future 1 is one of the best scripts of all time. It is a perfectly written script.
I'm happy for you.
I can't believe you guys.
That
happy
is
for you.
funny. I think
I
that is
will
a
never
good.
forgive you. for
This
you
is a
guys.
good note to end on. I'm so happy with this feud that just happened.
Oh
that
my
was
gosh.
awesome. And Katie and I were so.
Hey everybody, this
Yeah.
is the last episode of Bump That.
We're never gonna make it to next year. All those future videos we're supposed to do about things that are coming out next year. Yeah, those aren't happening anymore. Brian's quitting.
Oh my gosh. Brian,
Aw.
we're gonna title this Brian has another bad week. Bad luck, Brian. That's what it is.
You know what? That's fine. I'm gonna take my almanac of the sports, go back into the
Jeez.
future, go back to the past, make a ton of money, and when I'm swimming in the bajungos and the The monies.
I'm
the
sorry,
monies.
Excuse me, the bajungos?
Yeah,
my
that's when you have like
gosh.
packs of money. You call them bajungos. I'm gonna be swimming in the bajungos like Uncle Scrooge, and you guys are gonna be like, we should have picked Back to the Future, or at least gave it a shot.
Brian left Bump That, and we don't have any money.
Just end the show.
Oh,
Just
that
end-
is too good. I would love to know what you guys think in the comments down below. The conversations that we had, again, go Paul McCartney versus the Super Bowl, Pixar Animation versus the Japanese anime, Back to the Future versus Ghostbusters. How could you forget? And we would love to know what you guys think down below. Please leave some comments. Did you guys like this banter? Drop some hearts down below for Brian's soul, because right now it feels very
Back
tainted.
in time, yeah. Dun, 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 dun,
See,
dun,
that
dun,
is catchy.
dun,
No,
dun, dun,
there's something strange in the neighborhood. Who you gonna call? Ghostbusters!
It's the power of love. Dun, 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 dun.
Thank you guys so much. for
Power
listening
of
to
love.
this episode of
Can you
That.
feel it? Ooh.
They're still feuding. If you guys like this episode, drop a like. If you guys
Don't
are
need
not
money.
subscribed, please subscribe
Don't
to
need
us.
fame.
If you
Don't
have not
need
seen
no
last week's episode,
credit card to get your name.
if you didn't see last week's episode, Brian got his nipples ripped off. So go check that one off. Go check that one out. It was a great episode. Thank you guys so much for listening, and we will see you guys in next week's episode. Speaking of, next week's episode, we are going to be Imagineers. We are going to Disney World, and we are going to be creating our own rides. We're going to be creating Disney rides as Imagineers, so you will not want to miss next week's episode. Once again, thank you guys so much for watching Bump That episode 37, and we'll see you guys in next week. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.